S2000 to the track with the Ohlins suspension. I even kept the stock Bridgestone RE050s on the car. And so I went to the track and I followed my little Ohlins manual that came with the shock, and I set them to 7 clicks from full stiff, and I took it out on the track. The car is not on, racing brake pads or anything. It's on the crossover pads, and they still perform pretty well. Not great. I really went through a lot of pad on those pads, but the other thing is the narrow stock tire. It's a 215, and that limited my braking abilities. I really could have benefited in the braking zones from a larger front tire. I also had the tire pyrometer out there just to take some measurements. And while I don't intend to make this car a full track car, I found that even with minimal camber in the rear, my tire temperatures were mostly correct. In the front, I could have benefited from more camber. As far as toe goes, I was running 0 toe in the front and 1/8 inch toe in the back, and the AP2 is much more stable than the AP1, of course, without getting into any further discussion on that. I was driving conservatively. I had no offs during the day. I didn't want to have any offs. I just wanted to drive safe and make sure I got the car home in one piece. This is my daily driver after all. Now the great thing about the Ohlins is I found new lines at the racetrack. I could take corners more aggressively. I could go over the bumpy parts of the track without upsetting the chassis, and that was really incredible. And so it is a big improvement over stock. I also had the chance to go head to head with a couple other S2000s that were pretty closely matched to mine. Now these S2000s had race pads and they had much better tires. One of them had 80/08 tires and one of them had a 255 square Hankook RS3 setup. Both of those S2000s were on stock suspension. Even with that, we were pretty evenly matched, and by the end of the day I was getting ahead of these guys. That's without upgrading the tires. I'm still on the stock RE050s. It's pretty incredible because there are certain areas of the track where the stock suspension S2000s are forced to go slower, like Lost Hill. I could just fly over Lost Hill. I would always close the gap when I got to that part because you could fly over the hill and it's kind of off camber when you catch and turn into the next corner, and very easy to lose it in an S2000 normally, but my S2000 just stayed planted, and so I could just fly through that section. And so one of the guys was asking me, how do you go through that section so fast? And we're taking the same line. And so the only explanation I have is that it was probably due to my suspension. It's so composed, you can fly over the bumps and the car just keeps going. And I had some moments when it stepped out, but there was no snap behavior. It was very smooth, very controlled, lots of time to react. Really incredible. These dampers really make a big difference. And so I might change my opinion. Even if you go to the track a couple times a year, these shocks might be worth it because, watching the other S2000s go around the course, watching the body roll on them, they're eating up their tires that way. They're not maintaining a proper contact patch. My RE050s still look really good. I didn't use up a lot of tire, and I think that's due to the suspension. And so I think that these coilovers might help me get more out of my tires, more track days. And that's pretty cool. And it's just extremely easy to drive at the limit. And it's still very much an S2000. There's still very quick turn-in. The car is very quick to react, but it's just so controlled. So as far as the track testing goes, wow, it's an impressive shock. The Ohlins is very impressive, and I think it's worth the money that they're charging for it. Very impressive. I had a very positive experience with the Ohlins. And that's it. That's all I got for you guys. I hope you enjoyed watching this, and I hope you enjoy your car. Thank you for watching.